Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Fickle Revolution in the True Off My Chest subreddit. The post is titled, "I abandoned my kids, but now I have the chance to reconnect with them. I got a phone call recently that made me think about all of this again. I figured I'd share it, both to vent and to maybe help myself come to a decision. I have 3 daughters with my ex-wife that are currently 22, 19, and 17 years old. When I left, they were 11, 8, and 6 years old. I got divorced from my wife when my eldest daughter was 8. After my ex-wife had her, she was completely different from the person I married. My ex-wife was an amazing woman, incredibly kind, caring, compassionate, considerate, and never discredited you or your feelings. She was my dream woman, and all of that was seemingly gone in an instant. It was so jarring that I couldn't believe it. She refused to seek medical help no matter how concerned I was for her. She was always angry at me all the time for some reason. I could never do anything without it being a problem. Luckily, she never took out her anger on our daughter, but she was very protective of them from me. She said that I didn't deserve to even hold them. I stayed for years thinking that she'd get better. I thought the woman I married would come back, but she never did. Eventually, I just couldn't take it anymore and filed for divorce. The divorce went smoothly aside from the custody battle. She fought for me to get no custody, but I fought back hard and was able to eventually get joint custody after 2 years. My ex-wife always made it difficult though. She'd miss scheduled swap times. She tried to inconvenience me with swapping locations. She even tried to convince me not to pick up our kids for the stupidest reasons. But the worst thing was that my daughters hated me. They always told me how much they loved their mom and not me. They always told me that they wanted to stay with their mom instead. Killed me. I was so mentally exhausted and miserable that I contemplated ending my life multiple times. Luckily, I had some amazing friends that helped pull me back. Those people helped me realize how miserable I was, and I guess a flip just sort of switched in my brain because I just didn't want to try anymore. I relinquished my custody of the kids, blocked my ex-wife, and moved into a small apartment in a different county. I know it was cowardly. I know I'm a piece of I probably should have tried more, but I don't regret what I did. For my own sake, I needed to. I didn't want to be involved with my ex-wife aside from sending child support. I found a nice job that paid well and got comfortable in my new place, but I hardly went out and did anything. Many friends really helped me out of that funk over the years. Still, to this day, I'm not in a relationship with anyone. I've tried dating, but all I can remember is how badly my last relationship turned out, and I always back out. Despite that, I'm pretty happy with my life. I'm cozy and have good friends that take me out on vacation sometimes. It's not a big lifestyle, but it's something that I'm enjoying. Almost a week ago, I got a phone call from a number I didn't recognize. I thought it was one of my doctors, but it was actually my second eldest daughter on the other line. I still don't even know how she got my number, but she actually apologized to me. She actually full cried on the phone with me and said that she never meant what she said when she was younger, said that her sisters feel the same way, and asked if she could see me. I didn't know what to say at the time, so I just tried to say that it was okay and that it wasn't her fault. But I also told her that I needed some time to think, which she was very understanding of, and told me that I can call back at any time. I've been giving it a lot of thought since then. After writing all of this, I think that I want to go see her. She was just a kid back then, and I still love her and want to connect with her. I don't want her to feel guilty over this. I'll try giving her a call tomorrow. Obviously, it sucks to have been forced out of the family, but at the very least, OP seems to have found some level of stability in his life now. I personally think it would be a great idea for him to reconnect with his daughter. I don't believe OP ever mentioned why exactly his wife started freaking out on him, or if he even knows. It's entirely possible that his wife is a complete fool, but anyway, it sounded like she influenced the kids to hate OP. The oldest was 11 at the time of the divorce, while the youngest was 6. So now that they are maturing and are able to come to their own conclusions, hopefully they'll realize the relationship was a bit one-sided if that was in fact the case. User Boss Lady said, "Absolutely call your babies. Your ex did some insane toxic. I feel so bad that the kids were collateral damage to her. Just hear them out, talk to them, and live your best lives together. User Aggravating Plum said, I know they hurt you more than you could ever describe, but if you could have it in your heart to give them a chance, it might be the best thing ever. Your kids didn't hate you because of you. They hated you because their mother filled them full of lies and made sure they hated you. Maybe something happened to make them realize their mom was the problem all along. User Muted Piccolo said, yes, you should connect with them and try to form a new bond. Be honest with them that after trying for so long, your ex-wife and the words of your kids broke you and you needed to heal. They were children, and while their words hurt, they came from young, immature brains that didn't understand the impact. It sounds like they know now, but you are still right to protect yourself. Take it slow, meet them when it feels right. Good luck. This next post was made in the same subreddit by a now deleted user. The post is titled AITAH for breaking up with my GF because of a caught cheating prank. I broke up with my girlfriend of 2 years because of something that happened recently, and now my friends are saying I massively overreacted. A few days ago, my girlfriend and a close mutual friend decided to play a prank on me. The prank was that they filmed a scenario where I caught them in bed together, pretending they were hooking up. They set up a hidden camera in the bedroom, and when I walked in, I saw him in just boxers and my girlfriend in a bra and panties, straddling him, acting like they were mid-hookup. To make it more realistic, they even made some noises and tried to act like it was happening for real. I was shocked, furious, and immediately confronted them as I thought it was real at first, and then I walked out of the room and started leaving the house. When they followed me screaming it was just a prank and then showed me the video they'd been recording. To be honest, I felt completely betrayed, not just by the idea of the prank, but also because of how they had gotten undressed to film it. I know it's meant to be funny to some people, but for me, it felt disrespectful, and I was hurt. The whole thing felt like a violation of trust, even though I know they weren't actually cheating. I told her I couldn't be in a relationship with someone who would do something like that, and I ended things right there. She's devastated, and our friends have been telling me I overreacted. They think it was just a harmless prank and I should have taken it better, but I can't shake the feeling that it crossed a line for me, especially with how intimate and uncomfortable it felt to see them in that situation, even if it wasn't real. Now I'm left wondering if I made the right decision. I'm starting to doubt myself because everyone else seems to think I blew it out of proportion. Edit. I did not expect this many responses. Thank you guys. She posted here earlier and sent me a link to her post. I know she wants me to watch the video to prove it was all set up and planned, but I feel she still doesn't get that I am upset about her disregard and disrespect for me and our relationship. Anyway, I am going to sign off for the night. Update. My ex-girlfriend was really upset with all the hate she received online and blamed me for painting her in a bad light. I told her I did no such thing. She just didn't like that she got called out on her behavior. The mutual friend who was part of the prank is now also pissed off at me and saying I went way overboard. I told them both blocked their numbers. Our friends have since started taking this more seriously after reading some of the comments on here, with a few taking my side and saying what my girlfriend and the friend did was horrible. Others still think this was all unnecessary and I should just have laughed it off and moved on. User Infinite Wish said, how does your girlfriend of 2 years not know you well enough to know what you'd find funny? Like, even if you prank each other all the time, she should know you and what you would find actually funny. If you're not laughing, it's not actually a prank. It's just them hurting you and then blaming you for being hurt. User Dr. Lucia said, you made the right decision. Other people don't get to decide what sort of prank goes past your line for pranks. If your ex-girlfriend really was devastated, maybe she'll learn that trying to pull elaborate pranks can backfire on her and she won't do it to other people in the future. User Away Understanding said NTA at all. They were nearly naked doing a prank that was designed to cause you pain. They are at best insensitive idiots, and so are the friends calling it a harmless prank. It's not harmless. That situation is something that causes harm, especially with how intimate and uncomfortable it felt to see them in that situation, even if it wasn't real. But it was real in a way. They may not have had sex in that instance, but she was in her bra and panties straddling him. Why was she so comfortable doing that? I would never do that with any of my guy friends. They could have kept their clothes on and just made noises while sitting apart behind the closed door. What they did was intimate, so clearly they are comfortable with each other in that way. I am not fully convinced nothing has ever happened. She can be devastated all she wants, but hopefully this serves as a lesson to her to respect the relationship she's in, move on to someone more mature and ready to be in a committed adult relationship. This final post was made in the AIO subreddit by a user named Throwbro. The post is titled AIO to think my wife is cheating. Throwaway, of course. About 6 months ago, I noticed an undershirt folded up in my dresser drawer. The weird thing was that the label wasn't from any of the brands that I have, and there was only one of that kind. I tried it on, and it clearly didn't fit me. I assumed that it was an old shirt of mine that somehow got brought out of storage and tossed it. 2 months later, I found a pair of men's jeans, clearly not my size, folded on the top of the dresser. This was after I was at a conference for a few days. The conference was in my town, but I was gone from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. pretty much every day. I asked my wife about it and family who had visited recently. Nobody had any idea where they came from. I started to suspect something was up, but decided that it was in the best interest of my relationship to just ask once and then trust my wife's response. I tossed the jeans and moved on. This morning, I found a men's polo shirt hanging in my closet. Not my size, and it has a brand from a store that I don't shop at and haven't even stepped foot into for nearly a decade. This was only days after I returned from an out-of-town work trip. I confronted my wife, demanding answers. She claims that she knows nothing. I started by asking her why she thinks I'm upset. She jumped straight to, "You think I'm cheating." I asked her to put herself in my shoes and try to explain how else I could interpret this pattern. She never answered the question. We went back and forth for about an hour with the shirt lying on the table between us. I kept saying that I don't know is not an acceptable answer. She ended with, "Or what?" I said that I needed answers one more time and got straight up from the table and left to go back to work. Historically, I do trust her, but I can see how easily lies come out of her mouth when speaking to her family over seemingly small things. She grew up in an overbearing household and she knows how to cover her tracks. During the conversation, I asked if I could go through her cell phone, something I have never done before or even tried to do. Of course, nothing of note. Something is happening. The pattern is clear to me. Am I overreacting? How should I proceed? Edit, thanks for the insight, folks. I've been internalizing all of this and trying to remain objective. It's easy to jump to a conclusion about cheating, and yes, the evidence does seem damning. There is some advice in the comments about next steps, and many with differing perspectives on what else could have happened. This has certainly helped me step back and assess the situation more clearly. We had a multiple hour-long conversation. She called my in-laws about the clothing, I called my folks with the same questions. I was given her phone to go through again. I even did some digging with the ISP to get connected devices and websites, texts from cell, etc. No answers anywhere. At the end of the day, I chose not to blow up my entire life and instead chose to proceed with caution. If she is cheating, she knows she is going to be heavily scrutinized and will eventually be caught with actual evidence. If not, I avoided destroying my family over nothing. Lots of you will disagree with me, I'm sure, but this is my life, and there are nuances at play here that haven't been shared. Update. I left off on Tuesday calm, accepting that there had to be something more to the story. The last thing I wanted to do was blow up my life for no reason. Lots of folks instantly jumped to cheating, which is understandable given the context. The other 25% either thought it was fake or needed more info because the idea of folding or hanging clothes in the closet of the person you are cheating is so outlandish, which is also understandable. I was committed to finding answers that prove my wife's innocence, which we eventually did. Out of all the 7.5 million views and 7,000 comments, the one thing that we all missed was the possibility of clothing being donated to us, which ended up being the case. My wife is thrifty and baby clothing is expensive. One of the ways we have curbed the cost is by frequenting social media marketplaces looking for those who are cleaning house. During the process, it seems that folks would include more than just baby clothing in their donations. It took some digging, but eventually we found the previous owners for both the pants and the polo and confirmed that it did indeed come from them. The last 2 days have been an emotional roller coaster. The saving grace out of all of this is that we both stayed calm, cool, and collected during the exchanges. Thanks to everyone for all the input and supportive messages. Edit. Yes, we really do get all of our child's infant clothing secondhand. Most of it hasn't been worn yet. If you don't have kids, it probably sounds hard to believe. We also get this stuff in bulk, so not everything is immediately visible or apparent, and it just gets tossed in with our normal laundry. For those still in doubt, I was the one who did the digging on the donations and sent pictures of the clothing to the previous owners. Both confirmed it was theirs. Sorry if you think it's fake, maybe it's time you get off the internet. User Matt Adore said, if you buy baby clothes new, you're a sucker. There is $1 trillion blob of infant onesies floating around America, bouncing between families because we're all too emotionally attached to them to throw them out. When we resell them occasionally, we sneak in a few other items we no longer want. I can't tell you how many 9-year-old boy snow pants were found in a bag of girls' bathing suits I bought on OfferUp. Your wife's explanation is infinitely plausible. Glad it all worked out. User Lotion Cream said, honestly, I was starting to think the wife was just buying new clothes for the husband as a subtle way to say, you need new clothes and your old wardrobe is so horrendous I'm going to start secretly switching it out.